What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, I think we got super lucky that the guy who wrote Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Jeff Loveness, is the same guy writing Avengers 5, because during the press junket, and now even 2 weeks or so after the film's release, he is still doing interviews and having to be asked point blank about that upcoming Avengers 5 film. And while he's done great to not give any major reveals away, keep in mind he's still writing the script himself. What he has had to do is answer questions point blank about Fantastic Four, X-Men, the Council of Kangs, and of course which Avengers are going to show up during that movie. He's been pretty candid about it, but there is one recent quote now making headlines about Daredevil, characters like Moon Knight, even OGs like Hawkeye, and while now it's been reported that he's confirmed these characters, I actually want to take a look at that quote in full and what it revealed. He's not exactly confirming them, rather downplaying their ability to even fight Kang, making me wonder if he's not excluding these characters. We're going to break down some of his latest quotes, not only about which Avengers are going to show up and which ones won't, but also he doubled down on the Fantastic Four again not being part of the film in a separate interview. We're doing a full roundup and what we can expect from that team when we finally get to Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway. The next one is to coincide with Guardians of the Galaxy in just a couple of months. Again, all you gotta do, be a sub, leave a comment on the video. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So the latest quote is coming from an interview that Jeff Loveness, again the guy who wrote Quantumania and is currently writing Avengers 5, did with Polygon when asked about that film and the upcoming script. This is what he had to say specifically about Kang, his backstory, and what it means for certain characters. These certain characters are the ones making the headlines today. Polygon writes, quote, "Loveness says the original script for Quantumania had even more backstory for Kang, but like all movies that find their shape over the course of development, certain beats and reveals were sanded down. Much of that will find its way into Avengers 5 Kang Dynasty, but Quantumania leaves fans with the tease of many Kangs seen in a post-credit scene and what they ultimately mean for the Kang of the new movie." Quote, "I just love the setup of he's not a liar," Loveness points out. "If you go back and watch the movie and listen to what he's saying, we're in a lot of trouble because he was the only thing that can stop these guys. That leaves the Avengers with a massive problem of the future in terms of all the Kangs they need to face." Loveness could not be more excited. Quote, "I wish Hawkeye a lot of luck. I'm sure Daredevil and Moon Knight are going to be great against those guys," with great italicized to make sure you know he was most certainly inflecting great for some affect, as if he was making a joke. And this turned into the headlines today that Hawkeye, Daredevil, and Moon Knight are all confirmed for Avengers Kang Dynasty. When I look at this quote in the context of what he's saying, he's actually using some of the lowest power set Avengers to make the point that they won't be capable of fighting the Council of Kangs. Regardless of Moon Knight being an avatar of an Egyptian god, you've got to admit Hawkeye is the bottom power set. Even with the amazing aim, I've got to go ahead and rank him behind Black Widow on the OG Avengers. And of course, Daredevil is amazing, but the most street level of heroes, and actually spends most of the time both on screen and in the comics getting his butt kicked. And again, we're back to Moon Knight, maybe one of the more powerful of the three. Even still, no ability to fly, no insane super strength, definitely can't shoot any sort of photons or lasers. Basically, these three are the bottom of the barrel. I would take literally almost any other Avenger in an instance where I needed him to fight someone like Kang. That's why I think Jeff Loveness specifically used these three. And as even more evidence of this being a joke, Hawkeye's pretty much done in the MCU. They used his show to retire him and introduce Kate Bishop. I don't see Hawkeye playing a huge role, maybe a cameo, something like the portal scene in Secret Wars. The more the merrier there. But as far as Kang Dynasty, I think this was on purpose, and so while some places are going to say this is Loveness confirming these three characters, I'm going to say maybe the opposite and definitely ruling some of them out. Now that being said, he was also asked in a separate interview again about both the X-Men and Fantastic Four showing up in Kang Dynasty. This was in a separate interview with the Phase Zero podcast. This is what he said about those characters, quote, "I know they're making a Fantastic Four, but that's its own thing. I mean, look, I'm the biggest X-Men guy in the world. No, I think that's being saved for a bit. But these Avengers are in trouble. They got a whole lot going on with Kang. They got more than enough to handle." So he is again doubling down that Kang Dynasty is going to be an Avengers film. This is what we had heard from several of the leaks and rumors, that Secret Wars can be the thing that we all expect it to be in the major crossover and spectacle, and anybody can get a role in there, including anybody who's ever played a superhero at any point, at any franchise, at any movie studio. But for what they're going to do with Avengers King Dynasty, it is going to focus on the galvanizing of another Avengers team. And I think it's pretty clear at this point that the new characters that they focused on in Phase 4 will go on to join what OG characters are left. So you can take characters like Moon Knight, Shang-Chi, She-Hulk, and put them on a team alongside Sam Wilson, who's an OG, but now the new Captain America, someone like Rhodey as War Machine, even though we know that Armor Wars might actually come after King Dynasty, of course, Spectral Vision, and maybe even Wonder Man when we're introduced to that character. And if you're wondering about other OGs that are left, say, you know, Bucky alongside Yelena Belova, they'll be over on a different team in the Thunderbolts, the same way that Captain Marvel may not be on the Avengers. She may have her squad, the Marvels, although we know Miss Marvel, Photon, Captain Marvel, these are historically and classic members of the Avengers, so I actually expect all three of them to make the team. And of course, I'd be super remiss if I didn't mention Spider-Man. Tom Holland's Spider-Man has already had its own separate scoop that he would look to be one of the leads in Avengers King Dynasty, which perfectly leads me into my final thought, aside from the fact that this Avengers squad is going to get really big. This all leads me to my final thought, that I think the picture now has gotten finally clear enough for me to come out and say it, especially considering Jeff Loveness wrote one of my favorite episodes of Rick and Morty ever in the Vat of Acid, which explores this exact idea about what is sacred. If you're allowed a million redos because of time travel or a million variants because of the multiverse, how is anything worth anything? And that's what they're going to do in Avengers King Dynasty. We'll have a chance to follow our characters, our She-Hulk, the Moon Knight that we know. Yes, there are infinite variants across the multiverse. We've already seen this with Doctor Strange and Loki, but before we get to all that craziness in Secret Wars, we can actually follow our Avengers team that we've been following in Phase 4 and Phase 5 at this point through that movie. And I think it's actually for the best. It's not overcluttered with other characters from the Fantastic Four because, well, it's not their movie. It's an Avengers film. We don't have any of the X-Men introduced yet. We will during Deadpool, but that'll be the Fox universe maybe coming in at Secret Wars. But this will be the opportunity for the MCU to, amidst the multiverse saga, pretty much ignore the million variants in the multiverse and follow our team. So we'll have our Avengers alongside whoever else shows up in the multiverse saga, and I think that's actually a better way to do it. I think that might also forecast some truth to the rumors we've heard about Secret Wars perhaps being split up, becoming its own two-part duality, because King Dynasty won't really be a part of that story that's being told, especially now as we're starting to get a clearer picture and confirmation from the writer that he's really focusing on the Avengers. But as always, let me know down in the comments, guys, who do you want on the squad? Who do you not want on the squad? I am all for Daredevil. I know he's a little weak in the power set for your normal Avenger, but shoot, if Hawkeye can make the team in the past, so can Daredevil. I'm all for it. Let me know down in the comments quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Okay, we're still giving away PlayStation 5s. The next one will be to coincide with Guardians of the Galaxy in just a couple of months. If you want to be entered to win, all the same rules apply for all the giveaways at the channel. Just hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below, because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos, the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. You can find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at I'mFires. You can also find me on every musical platform, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name AllFires. I'd appreciate you checking my music out, but thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.